Every woodworker has a story they do not like to tell. A project that went wrong in a way they did not see coming. A piece of wood they ruined that they can never get back. A joint that looked fine until it did not. A finish that dried into something they could not fix. These are the moments that separate the craftsmen who grow from the ones who quit. And today on Wood Uncle we are talking about 7 of them. Not to make you feel bad about past mistakes, but to make sure you never have to make them in the first place. Now I want to be honest with you from the very start. Every single mistake on this list is one that experienced woodworkers have made. Some of them more than once. These are not beginner mistakes. They are human mistakes. And the only thing that separates a craftsman who keeps making them from one who stops is knowing exactly why each one happens and what to do instead. Stay with me until number 1. Because that mistake is the one that costs craftsmen the most and talks about it the least. Welcome to Wood Uncle, the channel where we tell you what other channels are too polite to say. Subscribe now and hit that bell, because this is exactly the kind of conversation we have here every week. Now let us begin. Mistake number 7. Working with wood that has not acclimatized to your workshop. This is the mistake that punishes you weeks after you made it. You bring home a beautiful piece of lumber, you are excited to get started, and you cut into it that same afternoon. The project comes together. It looks good. And then 3 weeks later the drawer will not close. The panel has cupped. The tabletop has split along the grain. And you have no idea why, because the wood looked perfectly fine when you used it. Here is what actually happened. Wood is not a stable material. It is a living material that continues to respond to moisture and temperature long after the tree was cut. When you bring a board from a lumber yard into your workshop, it needs time to adjust to the humidity and temperature of its new environment. That process is called acclimatization. And depending on your climate and the species of wood, it can take anywhere from 1 week to 1 month. During that time, the wood will expand or contract until it reaches equilibrium with the air around it. If you cut and assemble before that process is complete, you are locking movement into your project that has nowhere to go. And wood always finds a way to move. Always. The fix is simple. Stack your lumber in your workshop with stickers between each board to allow air circulation. Leave it for a minimum of 2 weeks. Check the moisture content with an inexpensive moisture meter before you start cutting. And resist the urge to rush. The wood is not going anywhere. And the project you build from properly acclimatized wood will still be standing in 50 years. The one you rush will show its cracks by next winter. Mistake number 6. Ignoring grain direction when planing or chiseling. This is a mistake that beginners make because nobody explains it clearly enough early on. And it is a mistake that causes real damage in real time. When you plane or chisel against the grain, you are not cutting the wood fiber. You are lifting and tearing it. The result is tear out. A ragged, splintered surface that looks like the wood exploded rather than was cut. And once tear out happens, the only way to fix it is to remove more material than you intended. Which changes your dimensions. Which changes your joinery. Which changes your project. Here is how to read grain direction before you make a single cut. Look at the edge of the board and find the direction the grain lines are angling. Then imagine those lines as a series of tiny ramps. Always plane or chisel in the direction that goes up the ramp, not down it. Going down the ramp is going against the grain. Going up is going with it. Your tool should feel like it is skimming across the surface. If it feels like it is digging in and grabbing, you are going the wrong way. Stop, reverse direction, and try again. This single piece of knowledge will save you hours of remediation work and more than a few pieces of expensive hardwood. And number 5 is a mistake that is even more common and even more preventable. Mistake number 5. Using dull tools. I am going to say something that sounds extreme but is completely true. A dull tool is more dangerous than a sharp one and more destructive than no tool at all. This is not an opinion. This is physics. A dull edge requires more force to make a cut. More force means less control. Less control means the tool goes where it wants to go rather than where you want it to go. And a tool going where it wants in a workshop is a problem every single time. Beyond the safety issue, a dull tool destroys the surface of the wood in ways that sharp tools never do. A dull chisel compresses and crushes wood fiber rather than slicing it cleanly. A dull plane tears rather than peels. A dull saw blade burns the wood and deflects from the line. Every one of these outcomes costs you time, material, and the quality of your finished piece. The honest answer is that most woodworkers do not sharpen nearly enough. A chisel should be sharp enough to shave hair from your arm before every session. A plain iron should produce a reflection you can see your face in. If you cannot remember the last time you sharpened a tool, it needs sharpening right now. Not after this project. Right now. Develop a sharpening practice and protect it like it is the most important habit in your workshop. Because it is. Now we are at the halfway point. And the next mistake is one that I have personally seen destroy projects that were otherwise beautifully made. Stay with me. Mistake number 4. Rushing the glue up. A glue up is the single most stressful moment in many woodworking projects. You have multiple pieces that need to come together simultaneously. The glue is open, time is ticking. The clamps need to be positioned. The joints need to close fully. And everything needs to be square. And because all of this is happening at once, most woodworkers rush. And rushing a glue up is how you end up with an assembly that is out of square, a joint that did not fully seat, or a panel with a gap that cannot be closed once the glue has set. The solution is to rehearse every glue up completely before you open a single bottle of glue. Dry fit the entire assembly. Place every clamp. Check for square. Identify every problem. Fix every problem. And only then mix or open your glue. When you do the glue up for real, you are not solving problems. You are executing a process you have already completed once without the pressure of open glue time counting down. Also, use the right amount of glue. Starved joints and glue-starved surfaces fail. But flooding a joint with excess glue does not make it stronger. It makes it messier and harder to clean up. A thin, even coat on both mating surfaces is all you need. And if you are using hide glue, work fast. If you are using PVA, you have more time. Know your adhesive before you start the clock. Mistake number 3. Measuring twice and still cutting wrong. You have heard measure twice, cut once. And it is good advice as far as it goes. But here is the mistake that advice does not protect you from. Measuring from the wrong reference point. Most woodworking errors do not come from misreading a tape measure. They come from measuring from an edge that is not square, transferring a measurement to the wrong face of the board, or measuring each piece individually rather than using one piece to mark the next directly. The most reliable woodworkers minimize measurement entirely where possible. Instead of measuring and marking a length on every board, they cut one board to length and use it as a direct template to mark all the others. Instead of trusting a tape measure for joinery layout, they use a marking gauge set directly from the piece it needs to fit. This approach eliminates the opportunity for cumulative measurement errors that compound across a project and leave you with pieces that are individually correct but collectively wrong. And here is the mistake inside the mistake that almost nobody talks about. Measuring to a pencil line. A pencil line on wood can be over 1 millimeter wide. If you cut to the center of that line on one piece and to the edge of it on another, your dimensions will not match. Use a marking knife instead of a pencil for any measurement where precision matters. The knife line is a fraction of 1 millimeter wide, and it registers your chisel or saw exactly where it needs to be. Number 2 is the mistake on this list that most experienced woodworkers are still making right now. And most of them do not even realize it. Mistake number 2. Sanding through the grits too quickly. Sanding is the part of woodworking that most people want to get through as fast as possible. And that impatience is exactly what causes the problem. When you skip grits, when you jump from 80 grit to 220 without working through the intermediate steps, you are not saving time. You are creating scratches that the finer grits cannot remove. And those scratches will not show up until the finish goes on, at which point they are perfectly and permanently visible. And there is nothing you can do except strip the finish, sand back down, and start the finishing process again. The correct approach is to sand through every grit in sequence. Start at a coarse enough grit to remove any machine marks or plain tracks. Then move to the next grit up. And before you move to the grit after that, sand across the grain briefly at the current grit. This cross-grain pass will show you exactly which scratches from the previous grit are still present. When those cross-grain scratches are gone, you are ready to move up. Not before. And the final grit matters enormously for the finish you are applying. A waterborne finish raises the grain and needs a higher final grit. An oil finish penetrates and looks better at a lower final grit. Know your finish before you start sanding and sand accordingly. Because the finish does not hide sanding mistakes. It reveals them. And now mistake number 1. The mistake that is responsible for more ruined projects, wasted wood, and abandoned workshops than any other single error in this craft. And nobody talks about it because it is not a technical mistake. It is a personal one. Mistake number 1. Building projects that are beyond your current skill level without a plan to bridge the gap. Here is what actually happens when a woodworker takes on a project that is significantly beyond their current ability without preparing properly. They encounter a technique they do not know. They improvise. The improvisation fails. They try to fix it. The fix makes it worse. They become frustrated and either abandon the project or produce something they are not proud of. And the experience, rather than building their skills, damages their confidence in a way that takes months to recover from. This is the most destructive mistake in woodworking. Not because ambition is wrong. Ambition is absolutely right. Every craftsman should be reaching for projects that stretch them. But there is a correct way to stretch and an incorrect way. The correct way is to identify every technique in a planned project that you have not done before, practice each one on scrap wood until you understand it, and only then cut into your good material. The incorrect way is to buy expensive wood and hope for the best. Practice joints on scrap before you cut them on your project wood. Test your finish on an offcut from the same board before you apply it to the piece. Build a rough version of a complex component before you build the final one. This approach does not slow you down. It is the only approach that actually speeds you up. Because every hour you spend practicing on scraps saves you 3 hours fixing mistakes on your project wood. And here is the most important thing I want you to hear. The craftsmen who grow the fastest in this craft are not the ones who are most talented. They are the ones who are most honest with themselves about where they are right now and most systematic about closing the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Talent is not the variable. Honesty and process are. So there you have it. 7 woodworking mistakes you should never make. Working with unacclimatized wood. Ignoring grain direction. Using dull tools. Rushing the glue up. Measuring from the wrong reference. Sanding through grits too quickly. And taking on projects beyond your skill level without a plan to close the gap. 7 mistakes. 7 completely preventable situations. And the knowledge to never make any of them again. Now tell me in the comments which of these 7 mistakes you have made. Because I guarantee that every single person watching this video has made at least one of them. If this video saved you from at least one future mistake, share it with a fellow woodworker who needs to hear it. And subscribe to Wood Uncle if you have not already. Make your mistakes on scrap. And make your masterpieces on everything else.